Hello there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, here with just a quick video today. I wanted to review the new Gansai Tambi 24 color set by KURETAKE, which is a Japanese watercolor manufacturer. And here I've just I painted this stamped image. I just painted it 4 times, cut it out, and layered it up, and I really like the way it turned out. This has been a very most requested video. Here's a look at what the package looks like, and I did get it wet a little bit. But it comes in a green box with this wrapper around it. They're kind of hard to get right now. I asked my friends at Hallmark Scrapbook to save me a set when they came in, and I mean that was a couple months ago, so they just came in. They have a few extras, and I'll put a link below so you can find those if you want. But I did a swatch out here. And I, made pretty big grids here because I wanted to see how the color wicked. I wet the area, put the color in, and just kind of let it puddle around. You can get a very even coat with these colors. I got a little backwash on some of those. I was surprised at how vivid like this color was. This is in the pan. I really recommend that when you get a new set of colors that you swatch it out, especially if it's something like watercolor where you don't necessarily see exactly the color it's going to be, because like if you look like this color here is that color. So I mean there's a huge difference, and it could be very hard to tell what you have. Now for primaries, I found that this color, and this color were my most primary, and I did a little mix with them up here, and you can see I got really nice greens, nice oranges, pretty decent purple there with those 3 colors. So they do seem to be pretty pure and pretty mixable. So that was pretty good news, because you never know when it's kind of like when I see something that's kind of like really popular and everyone's loving it and it's almost like a fad. I really want to look and make sure that it's a good quality paint. And here I just took some of those colors and just blended them along the edge to see if they muddied up or if they kept their colors nice and vivid, and they did stay pretty bright. Now this is kind of like a combination between a traditional transparent watercolor and a gouache. It's not completely transparent, it's not completely opaque. The thing I like about this is that these are semi-transparent, but they're not going to crack and pop out of the little pans, which is a problem you kind of have with gouache sometimes, or other matte watercolors or student grade watercolors, is they'll crack and they'll pop out. And I don't really know how much product's in here, because obviously they fill it liquid, and the owners over at Hallmark was telling me that it's so hard to get these in because they only make like 3 colors in their factory at a time, and then it takes a couple of weeks for them to dry out before they can package them. So it's a kind of labor intensive process they go through, or a time intensive process. But you can see that at the bottom of the pan, this is maybe like a millimeter offset here, the bottom, and plus however thick it is. And then I look at the top, and then I look and I see that there's probably only about maybe a millimeter or 2 millimeters worth of paint in there. I'm not exactly sure, but it does seem like it's a pretty hard cake, but it releases color easily, and hopefully it's a pretty slow wearing. It seems to me that it's going to be a pretty slow wearing color, but I just want to let you know how much product is actually in there. Hallmark has this set for less than $30. I've seen it like close to 50 other places, so I just want to let you know these are kind of a fad right now. They're hard to get, so that is making the prices a little bit higher on these nowadays. So what I did here, because I really wanted to play, I took this stamp here, and I saw that at first I thought, oh, that's a pretty stamp. I don't know how many times I'll use it. It came with the face. It was the Blossom Beauty set. I don't have the packaging because my daughter took off with it. But then I saw that Stampiness had dies to go with it. It cut it out 3 different times, and I was like, oh, that made me think of doing some paper toiles. So I don't have those dies, but I have scissors. So what I did was I painted it 3 times in pinks and cut it out and layered it. And then I thought, oh, I wish there was some leaves. So then I just painted it again in green. And then I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, use it on a scrapbook page or a card, but I was just kind of putting it against these patterns just to see how it looked. But I will show you how I painted that. I'm not going to go through all the cutting out, but just so you can see these paints in action. And one more look at the swatch. I'll take pictures of all these and post them on my blog, thefrugalcrafter.wordpress.com, if you want to go check it out. And that way you can kind of take your time and look at everything as a still photo, because I know I'll go back and I'll look and I'm like, oh my word, I just went over that too quickly. So let me just show you what I did. I first stamped this in clear embossing ink, and then I heat embossed it with clear embossing powder so that I really wouldn't have to worry about staying within the lines or anything. I'm going to go ahead and throw in, let's use this kind of lemon yellow. Let's add some of this. these would be like the leaves. I'd cut this apart for the leaves later on. This pretty spring green around the tips. So, you know, think about your stamps. Think about how versatile you can be with them. If it's a flower, could you stamp it again and color it green and use it for the leaves? You know, think about that and see, you know, what you can get from your stamps. And you can see that, I'll just show you the palette here. They are a hard cake of color, but they release really quickly. I would let these dry out before I put the cover back on. It is a cardboard box, so it's not gonna like seal it in perfectly, I don't think. So I don't think you're gonna have to worry about it, you know, staying wet forever and molding, which is a good thing. Actually, I'm most excited about the size of the pans, because when these are empty, I'm gonna save the packaging. I'm gonna fill these pans up with my regular watercolors, because I love that I can fit like a full brush, like a 1-inch brush in there. This is a 1-inch brush. And you can see how big the pans are. So the pans are like 1.5 inches. That's pretty big. That's pretty awesome. All right. So now I'm just going to wet this flower over here. Why don't I do a petal at a time? And just going to show you. Actually, you know what? I don't need to, because this is embossed. If you didn't emboss it, you just want to do a petal at a time so all your colors didn't run together. Now I could just do one color and it'd be pretty. It'd be very pretty, like this kind of primary red. I could add that in the just in the shadows and let it wick out. I love the look of the white embossing, how it just kind of gives you that almost batik resist look. And actually, when I'm doing a layered flower like I just did, since you know you actually are building layers, you really don't have to do much as far as painting in layers. You can or shadows. You can kind of just let the paint go, because you're going to cut everything out anyway. But say I want to do like a two-tone and get that lighter color in there, I can do that. They shift a little bit lighter when they dry. I'll show you the dry one in a second, just so you can see. Soften some of those colors out. Some colors flow better than others. I think it has to do with how opaque they are. Getting ready to go visit my folks today, my sister. Just having a little bit of bathrobe crafting before the rest of the family is up and about too much. And then I'm just going to do some yellow in the middle. I am going to be careful just to keep that in the middle though, so I don't get it in my petals. Not that it would be the end of the world or anything. And then I can add a little bit of one of those greens that I've already used for the flower, for the leaves right in there, because a lot of times the centers of flowers have a little bit of green in there. Now to show you the color shift, it's not too drastic, you know, it shifts a little bit lighter. What I notice is like that lighter pink, this one right here, which see, you never know that was like a more pink. It looks more orange when it's dry. You know, I can look at my swatch and see that it's really more pink. You know, that shifts a lot lighter. The red doesn't, the more primary red doesn't shift so much. That stays a little bit darker. So, you know, you don't really, this is how it's going to look when it's all dried out. And then, you know, I cut apart both of those. I stamped that and colored it 3 times just so I'd have, you know, more layers to stack up. And that I just cut up and just kind of shoved in where I could. You can see how I have very weird looking cuts on the back, but that doesn't matter because that's not going to show. I'm pretty happy with these paints. I think though, if you have artist quality paints and you've been using artist quality paints, these aren't going to be a big wow. I think crafters are really excited about these because they haven't really had the opportunity to use an affordable set of decent paints, and so it seems really exciting. So I'd say if you don't have any decent watercolors that you're happy with, give them a try. I like working from the pans. I think a lot of people think pan colors are going to be very weak, but these are nice and vibrant, semi-opaque. They're very good for stampers because they're easier to control. They're not as watery and washy and loose as your regular transparent artist quality watercolors. So if you are a stamper, I think you're really going to enjoy these, or a scrapbooker. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this review. I like them. I think they're great. I think if you already have artist watercolors, though, they're not really a necessity. I will put a link below to Hallmark Scrapbook where you can find these at a great price. Disclosure, I do get a small percentage of the sale if you click through my link, so I just want to let you know that before you go shop, in case that biases your view at all. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great spring break week if you are on spring break, and until next time, happy crafting.